Yeah, we are all lacking in some sort of way. We are all being sanctified. And if you don't know what sanctified means, in short, it's basically we're being perfected until the day Christ comes back. So none of us are perfect. All of us are lacking in some sort of way. All of us could be better in some sort of way. That's why comparison is a thief of joy, because as believers, we all know that we're all sinners, bro, that we need God's grace more and more every single day. And we might have one day where we got it all together, but hey, that next day we might stumble and fall, because that's just in our nature. Sometimes we accidentally sin. Sometimes we purposely do it because we're in the heat of a moment. It's always important to remember that being sanctified is a process, not to abuse God's grace and his mercy as a loophole to just continue sinning, but to understand that we do fall short and that we do have moments of weakness. That is why we have him. That's why we get closer and closer to him. That's why we read more and more of his word, continue to surrender our struggles and our concerns and our worries, because it's all a part of that sanctification process, that perfecting. The refiner, he's the refiner. And we talked about this a couple weeks ago, I think, about silver. In order to make pure silver, you have to keep it in the fire in order for it to have a reflection. And in order for us to reflect God, we have to be refined by the refiner and kept in the fire. Not because God's trying to make us suffer, but because silver is refined in the fire and kept there until it reflects, until it has a reflection in it. So until we have that proper reflection of Christ and that proper reflection of God's nature, God keeps us in the fire. But he's in there with us. He's always in there with us. That's the biggest thing to remember, is that no matter what fire we find ourselves in, aka our struggles, our temptations, our seasons of life where we don't really have it all together, our seasons of life where we don't know what's happening, we're kind of lost, we're confused or whatever, we can rest assured that surely that we are being refined. We're being sanctified, we're being perfected, and we're far from perfect. We're far from that perfection, bro.